Ooh, Kon-Juwun, FlaVR's prettiest, juiciest, and manliest Femboy VTuber, Juwun ℙ𝕒𝕗𝕒 at your service. So tonight, we will be reviewing Monday Night Raw for September 9th, 2024. Now, you might be thinking, aren't you about a week late, Juwun? And yes, you're right. If you're not here last time, I attempted doing this on live stream last week, but unfortunately, as things tend to go with my live streams, I do tend to yap a bit, and we yapped into oblivion that evening, and I was only able to get 6 minutes into Raw, so we weren't really able to do much that live stream. So I'm gonna try doing that this stream, not this stream, in this video. So that's what it says. If you're not familiar with me, I am Juwun ℙ𝕒𝕗𝕒. I live stream. I'm a VTuber, and I am also a casual wrestling fan. So that is what I want to do. Maybe start a series reviewing Raw, and only Raw, because unfortunately they removed SmackDown from Hulu, so I have no means of watching it anymore. But that is the plan. I'm gonna try to do it. Let's go. Now, we've talked a lot about wrestling on the live stream, and we'll probably touch on a bunch of that stuff again on this recording. Obviously, I'm not gonna show you guys the WWE content, because then I'll get copyright struck, and that will be end of Juwun. WWE is gonna power slam, choke slam, destroy Juwun. So we're opening pretty strong with the ℎ𝕗𝕗𝕗 versus Chad Gable's new stable, American Made, and I really do like Chad Gable, and that's you might notice a recurring thing here in the series, or a recurring thing in this episode, is that I do have a thing for heels. I don't know, for some reason, I always end up cheering for the heels, and especially in this case, I really do love Chad Gable. He's a very technical wrestler, and he's very entertaining. His German suplex is really good looking, which is why I am kind of rooting for Chad Gable in this one. I was a big fan of Bray Wyatt, believe it or not. Unfortunately, I am not really digging the ℎ𝕗𝕗𝕗 that much. I'm not sure. I'm just not feeling it. I don't know. They do look really cool though. The members of the ℎ𝕗𝕗𝕗 look cool. But I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. And there's this one part here where they're showing a flashback of the previous Raw episode, and or one of the previous episodes in Raw, and it is showing Uncle Howdy. I was about to call him Mr. Howdy, but it was showing Uncle Howdy saying something within the lines of a bond forged in the suffering of the innocent is not family.
It's blasphemy!
I don't really get what you're trying to say there. I don't think blasphemy might be the right word. They're obviously trying to dig into the concept of some kind of cult leader, but really, I don't know. Maybe I might be nitpicking here, but blasphemy doesn't seem, at least to me, the right choice of words. You know, a bond forged in the suffering of the innocent is not family, it's a blasphemy. I don't know, maybe heresy. Maybe heresy might be a better term there. But then again, I'm just nitpicking. Now, I really love how the crowd is cheering for Chad Gable using You Suck. Obviously an homage to Kurt Angle. Now, they're obviously here on Canadian soil, and you can even see one of the Creed brothers. I don't know what he did, but I don't know what he did to the Canadian flag. Now, I do have a lot of Canadian viewers, so hello. How are you guys doing? But I'm obviously rooting for the American Made team here. but we'll see how it goes. Their intro, obviously the intro, I can't remember what the intro song is called, but this is Bray Wyatt's previous entrance song, and it hits really hard. It sounds really cool in the Fireflies or the other week's episode. At this point, it will be the other week's, but the other week's episode of Raw, is that the one where he wrestles Chad Gable? Is it just me, or does it look really goofy? I don't know, it might just be me. Wrestling with the mask and with the hair, it just looks a little too goofy for me. But then again, but yeah, I did love Bray Wyatt. I'm glad they're paying homage to Bray and not digging the sick too much. Now the crowd started chanting, "We want tables, we want tables," which is pretty. Which is foreshadowing of what's gonna happen here. Eric Rowan has a very strong showing in this fight. The Creed brothers and Chad Gable, they do gang up on him pretty often, and he just he takes the two Creed brothers and suplexes them. That is pretty impressive, and he does bring out the table. He gets slammed through it. He gets slammed through a bunch of stuff, gets buried in chairs and a lot of debris. But he still comes out. He comes out and is a pretty good showing. There's also a really nice bit of, I guess you can call it storytelling. You can see Chad Gable there at the corner. He's setting up a chair. Right there in the corner. Obviously he's planning to slam Rowan through it. Eric Rowan through it. You see he's busy setting up this chair in the corner, and you're kind of worried, oh no, Eric Rowan is gonna slam Chad Gable through it. But fortunately he has a pretty good sense of, I don't know, stage awareness, and he dodges it, and he's able to get Eric Rowan into the chair. Another pretty crazy scene in this fight here is Chad Gable doing a German suplex on Eric Rowan. How can you not love this guy? Unfortunately, he's a heel, and he's really good at what he does. He's really good at getting people to hate him, or at least boo him. But his German suplex is a thing of beauty. So he also gets German suplex by Nikki Cross, so I guess you can call that karma. Another thing about Nikki Cross, which I found very funny here, is there's a part here where Wade Barrett, I'll let him say it for himself. Hopefully the WWE doesn't strike me for this, but I'll have him say it himself.
It's in a world of hurt, and now Nikki Cross has lost her mind once again. Now,
I do love how they end this fight, because there is interference from Uncle Howdy, which leaves American Made looking pretty strong, because Uncle Howdy had to intervene in order to win this thing. So that's good. I'm happy with the result. I really wanted American Made to win. They didn't, but they didn't look like they had a strong showing. They didn't look weak. So I'm happy about that. So all in all, I think this was a pretty good match. There was a lot of action, a little bit of storytelling. There was a lot going on. There was a lot of carnage, a lot of bodies on the floor. So I think it's fair to give this a good rating. Now for my rating scale, instead of stars, we will be using bananas. And instead of a maximum of 5, let's go with a 10, because I like the number 10. So for this match, on our banana scale, I would give this, it's kind of arbitrary, but my guys didn't win, so if not for that, it would probably be an 8. But there you go. First match, 7 out of 10. We're off to a good start. Now for the next segment, we have another Judgment Day versus the Terror Twins. I think they go by the Terror Twins. I'm not really convinced that they're twins though. It is interesting, but I have no dog in this fight. I'm invested in the story though, but I don't really care who comes out on top. If the new Judgment Day comes out on top, that's fine. If the Terror Twins come out, I am okay with that too. However, there is something that I find kind of funny in this scene. The part where Rhea Ripley comes limping into down the what do you call this? Down the crosswalk here in order to save Damian Priest from the Judgment Day. She goes limping, and I don't think they plan to make this look comedic, but to me it looked very funny. I've mentioned this before on the live stream, but I'm not really into women's wrestling, but I do find the feud between Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley very interesting. Now, Rhea Ripley is obviously very strong. She's one of the few female wrestlers that I like. And it is kind of hard to believe that Liv Morgan can beat her, but when you throw in all the cheating that's been going on, then it becomes all the more believable, which is why I really do like this feud. Damian Priest though, something about Damian Priest doesn't really sit well with me. I don't know again. Maybe it's because I like heels and he's not being very heelish, but I don't really get it. He does cover Rhea Ripley here, protect her from Liv Morgan, smacking her with her crutch, which makes him look more heroic. So I guess there's that. So for this segment, it's just another generic Judgment Day segment. They do their harassment thing, except at the end there, Jey Uso comes in to save the Terror Twins. I don't know how to feel about this. It does, to me, in my opinion, this feels kind of forced. I don't really think Jey Uso fits well with the Terror Twins, but that's just me. We'll see how this goes. Apparently Rikishi was not very happy with this either. Jey Uso says he can make this work, so let's let him cook. We'll see how this goes. But overall, pretty meh-ish segment. Do we rate segments? I don't know. I will rate this segment. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. 6 bananas. 6 bananas for this segment. Speaking of women, we have a tag team match here between Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair versus the unholy union? Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. Fire and Dawn, I can't remember what their group is. Like I said before, I'm not really too into women's wrestling. I don't know, it's just me, but you know, people like me just come to watch wrestling to see huge jacked men beat each other up on stage for my entertainment. But I do have to make an exception. There are some female wrestlers that I like watching, and I do love Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair because both of them, I guess you could consider them powerhouses. So they're very strong, and this match clearly shows that because a lot of stuff is going on. It's a really good match, but there are times where the team of Fire and Dawn double team either Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, and Jade and Bianca are able to take both of them at the same time. So they have a really strong showing here. And I don't think it's just me, but I do feel like they're working to set up a match between Jade and Bianca. We really don't know how this is gonna come about, but there is a lot of you know, in commentary, they talk a lot about Jade being inexperienced and Bianca being the veteran here. Maybe they're gonna go that route kind of thing. Maybe they could go that route, like Jade is tired of being under Bianca Belair's wing, or however they want it to be. This match has been pretty good so far for a women's match, which is pretty wild for me. I just really love watching powerhouses wrestle, and both Bianca and Jade, in my opinion, are powerhouses. So they do pretty good, pretty crazy. I don't know if I'll throw a clip or two of them taking on both Isla Dawn and Alba Fire single-handedly, which is wild. But yeah, for this match, I will give them 7 bananas. I will give them 7 bananas. I think that's pretty fair. No. 7.5. Let's give them 7.5. And I believe that is a fair number of bananas to give these two ladies. Very good. Now we have Bret the Hitman Hart's intro. The thing about Bret Hart is that even though he was before my time, I still think he has had the coolest look in all of wrestling. Bret Hart was Blackpink before Blackpink was cool. He made pink and black work somehow, which is amazing. His intro music, such a banger. Everyone loves Bret Hart. Crowd is cheering for him. This is obviously Canada. A lot of my viewers, again, are from Canada. I'm pretty sure everyone loves Bret Hart. But here we find out what Bret Hart is here for. And it is to draw more heat for Gunther. Now, I also love Gunther. Now you can see a pattern here. I really do love the heel characters, and Gunther's one of those guys that I really like. Doesn't have a lot of flashy moves, but what he does really well. Now this is obviously setting up a new match, and since it is Canada, of course they have to match him with a Canadian. Sami Zayn. Now Sami Zayn is the one who dethroned Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. I am hoping, fingers crossed. And I think this is the obvious way to go for WWE, but it is to let Gunther retain. Everyone loves Sami. Sami's had his run. His work with the Bloodline was very cool, but in my opinion, the title looks so much better in Gunther. No offense, Sami Zayn. No offense, Canadians. I have a lot of Canadian viewers. No offense to all of you, but this is better on Gunther. Gunther obviously has a lot of heat here, but it does feel very artificial. The last time he was on stage, it was in German soil. Is he German? There was a scene though in this segment which I found very, very funny, and it's where Gunther tells Bret Hart,
"You have always been a childhood hero for me."
For a German. Is he German or Austrian? I don't know. But for a German, he's got quite decent comedic timing. Because this next part really caught me off guard. He tells Bret Hart that Bret Hart is his second favorite wrestler. So you think he's gonna say, because my favorite wrestler is me. Or that seems like the obvious choice. Or I was even thinking probably Shawn Michaels, just to get a reaction out of the crowd. I know this is not Montreal, but still, it's a callback to the screw job. But the one who Gunther ends up saying is his favorite is pretty crazy. I didn't really see it coming. So it was kind of like a punch to the gut. In a good way. It really took the air out of me. When he says that his favorite wrestler is Bill Goldberg. I swear, I was laughing out loud. For real. So overall, for ℏ𝕙𝕒𝕚𝕏𝕏𝕏 segment, you know, I'd give it probably a 6 out of 10. Not excited about Sami Zayn in the future, but the Bill Goldberg part, was comedy gold. So because of that, I will give it a 7. Lots of 7s in this episode. So the next segment is a Drew McIntyre segment. And I've talked about this over and over again, especially in the previous live stream, but I really don't like CM Punk. And I can really relate to Drew McIntyre, by the way, if you don't know. It's probably my favorite wrestler right now in the current roster. Definitely up there, first or second. I don't know. I also like Roman Reigns, but never mind. That's neither here nor there. So Drew McIntyre is my guy, and CM Punk has been screwing over Drew McIntyre over the past couple months, and that's really left a sore spot in my bottom. For the past couple months, I've been a little butthurt about all of this. But he got his revenge last week, and it's kind of funny that he wants to make it look like he's moving on after beating CM Punk up. Now, another very important thing that you have to mention with this whole feud deal going on is that I don't really get why the crowd is for CM Punk. Well, I do. It's obviously nostalgia. But CM Punk, ever since coming back to the WWE, has been nothing but nostalgia bait. There's a promo that Drew McIntyre cut a while back, and I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but he kept on telling the crowd that I have been here for you this past decade while CM Punk left the WWE, left very selfishly. I have been here working my butt off, Drew McIntyre, not me. But Drew McIntyre has been working his butt off. He got fired from WWE, or I'm not sure if he got fired, but he was let go. So he had to work improving his skills in the indie circuit before eventually coming back to the WWE. And Drew McIntyre has been here for the fans for the past decade. But for some reason, they're cheering for CM Punk. CM Punk has done nothing for the company, at least up until recently. All he's been doing has been screwing Drew McIntyre over and over again. So that is something that does not sit very well with me. So apparently, Drew McIntyre and CM Punk are squaring off again for the third time now in a PLE, which is gonna be in Bad for Blood, in a Hell in a Cell match of all things. And they do emphasize that Drew has not had the best luck in Hell in a Cell matches. So I'm a little worried CM Punk has had his share of Hell in a Cell matches. I'm a casual fan. I am not super familiar with CM Punk's history of winning Hell in a Cell matches, but I'm a little nervous. I'm really hoping Drew McIntyre wins. But yeah. Now, the MVP here in this segment has to be Wade Barrett. He really sells how hurt he was by Drew McIntyre's actions. So you can see Drew McIntyre is going a little crazy, is starting to lash out at his own friends, and Wade Barrett really sold it. So definitely this segment for me is easy. Drew McIntyre is my favorite wrestler. This whole storyline I am very invested in. So I have to give this an 8 out of 10. It would be 9, but I'm just worried. I'm kind of worried. That's why. The next match, we have a match between Rey Mysterio and Finn Balor. And to be honest with you, not a lot went on this match. We saw, you know, I've said before, I like seeing big, muscly, sweaty man beat each other up on stage for my entertainment, and I am not really super into high-flying stuff. No offense to Rey Mysterio, he makes everything look so smooth. Like, he really knows what he's doing, and it looks really good, but I want to see more power, more action, and unfortunately this match ends in a disqualification. Finn Balor holds his version of a Boston Crab in the ropes a little too long. He didn't let go, so he was disqualified. Not really feeling that ending, and not everyone is feeling that ending too. There's a reason it's in there to bring more heat against the Judgment Day, but really, doesn't the Judgment Day already have enough heat? Did he really have to do that to Rey Mysterio? I don't know. Like, Dominic right now is really hot. This is not a match about Dominic, but Dominic has so much heat already, and that extends to the Judgment Day. Does he really need this? So now we are in the main event, and the main event is a 4-way match for the contender for the Intercontinental Championship between Jey Uso, Ilya Dragunov, Braun Strowman, and Pete Dunne. Jey Uso was obviously everyone's favorite going into this, and the crowd really loves him. You can really see a difference between Jey Uso's entrance and everyone else's. Everyone is eating, for lack of a better word. So Jey Uso is very popular right now, very over with the crowd. Ilya Dragunov comes in, Jey Uso being very blue, Ilya being very red. And unfortunately, you know, people like Ilya, but there's a stark difference in the crowd's reaction between Jey Uso and Ilya. So from that, you can already feel it's very obvious. People want Jey. Braun Strowman comes out. Not as big a reaction as Jey Uso's was, and Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne comes out, and I feel bad for Pete Dunne. And the announcers also reiterate, or they repeat that Pete Dunne has been everywhere. He's been in NXT. He was in No Mercy. I think he lost that one too. And the announcers really make you think about that. So I do feel bad for Pete Dunne coming in. So the match starts kind of forgettable, to be honest with you, but there is one. It does start to amp up in the later end. There's a part where Braun Strowman does his thing, the thing where he runs down the ring, runs everyone over. That was always fun to watch. I do feel that the show started with Eric Rowan, and Eric Rowan had a very strong showing. So I was really hoping Braun Strowman also gets the same treatment. Braun Strowman, obviously bigger than Eric Rowan, so you're hoping he get a pretty strong showing, and he does. He does in this match. He does a lot of crazy stuff. Now he does a thing where he runs everyone over. He sets up the announcer's table. It looks like he's about to plant Pete Dunne into the announcer's table, but out of nowhere, Big Bronson Reed climbs up the barricade and jumps into Braun Strowman. That was quite shocking. The timing of Big Bronson Reed just jumping into Braun Strowman, they timed it so perfectly. It didn't look like it was planned at all. So that really redeemed the match in my opinion. Unfortunately, that takes Braun Strowman out, so it is very obvious. It is very obvious now that Jey Uso is gonna win. Wade Barrett himself says, "We know that they want Jey Uso to win." And Jey Uso is about to finish off Ilya Dragunov here. But Pete Dunne yeets Jey Uso and gets Ilya to his own. Fortunately, Ilya kicks out. Now, Ilya does his H-bomb thing to Pete Dunne, but just before he gets a pinfall on Pete Dunne, Jey Uso comes out of nowhere, super kicks Ilya in the face, does the Uso splash, and 1, 2, 3, Jey Uso wins. The highlight of that match, however, was the deal with Braun Strowman and Big Bronson Reed. It would have been very interesting though if the people competing for the Intercontinental Championship were all bronze. You know, Braun Strowman, Big Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker. That would have been interesting too. But it looks like Jey Uso is the one who'll be competing. It does feel like they are kind of pushing Jey Uso down. I don't know. That's just me. Again, I'm a casual. I'm not an expert in these things, but wasn't Jey Uso in like the heavyweight contender thingy? You know, the King of the Ring and stuff. I do like Jey Uso, but I do like, in my opinion, I'd rather have it. I'd rather have the Intercontinental Championship stay in Braun Breaker. Maybe it's just my thing for heels, but I really do love Braun Breaker. Huge dude. His biceps are like the size of his head. So that's crazy. So for this match, I would give it 6 out of 10 bananas. 6 out of 10. I think that's fair. A lot of the match, unfortunately for a main event, was forgettable, at least for me. Overall, I would give this episode 7 out of 10 bananas. So not bad. I would love to do more of this moving into the future. Hopefully that you guys found this interesting. I found this interesting. I tried doing this live, that didn't work, so I had to do it this way. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. I enjoyed making this for you. If you're asking, am I gonna do this for SmackDown? Unfortunately, they took SmackDown off Hulu, so I have no ways of watching SmackDown. But maybe in the future. But I will see you next week for the next. I don't even know what to title this series. Raw review, tentative, pending. But thank you so much for hanging out. If you're, I don't know how you found me, but I will live stream next week. Not sure exactly what to live stream, but I will make sure to do. If this does well, I will try to do it. If this does well, I will try to do it again next week. But thank you guys for spending some time with me, for listening to me yap but that is it. ℕ𝕒𝕙 마드네.